Everybody, my name's Ladrhyn Bexx. I've been exploring sleep studies for many years as part of like lucid dreaming studies and astral projection, if anyone knows that is. So this talk is based about sleep, around sleep, getting better sleep. So the first part is going to be a bit interactive, so what I want to do is just raise your hands so I know sort of how people are. So how did everyone sleep today? Anyone good? Raise your hands. Okay. Did anyone not sleep good?
Oh, no, sorry. What was the question?
Did anyone not sleep well?
No, that's it.
You
No,
slept good?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I didn't sleep well, no. Nobody does in this heat.
And then also, like how many hours you slept. So anyone sleep more than 5 hours? Yeah, keep your hands up. More than 6 hours? More than 7?
No, mine not less.
Okay, so you're all around 7 and below.
Yeah.
Okay. So the studies that I've done for over the years, I've been my own guinea pig. I've been researching as well as doing my own things. Hello.
Sorry, we're a bit late.
It's all right. And a lot of this comes around like lucid dreaming studies as well, and over the years studying about like sleep states and dreams. And I found these just tips and tools that I found and adjusted in my routine that have helped me get better sleep. So, okay, just waiting for people to get in. So I'll do the questions again.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
We didn't know you were all the way down here.
Oh, it's all right. So just to it's an interactive workshop. So just raise your hands so I know the general, average of people. So who slept well last night? Raise your hands. Okay. And put your hands down. Raise your hand if you didn't sleep well. Okay. I sort of on and off. As like usually I sleep really well, but I was quite excited today coming here. So I only had like 6 hours sleep. Sorry.
I did eventually succumb to half a sleeping tablet, and then I did sleep, but tossing and turning in the heat.
Yeah. And then another set of questions is who slept more 4 hours or more? Keep your hands up. Okay. 5 hours or more? 6 hours or more? 7 hours or more? 8 hours or more? It's like an auction, isn't it? Okay, so around again, we did this questions a minute ago, so 7 minus. On average, depending on your genetics and lifestyle and probably illnesses and other conditions, we're all a variety of different people. So just one final question I'll do here. Who currently works? Just raise your hand. Okay, who's self-employed? Okay, who works for somebody? Okay, so you can see there's a diverse amount of people here with different lifestyles, different backgrounds, probably different routines. Maybe you do shift work. On average, take a seat. On average per night, I get roughly between 7.5 and 8 hours. That's just because I have a job I go to. I have a retreat centre in Somerset and Bridgewater, and I dedicate my time working a lot of hours, doing about 70 hours a week at a job, just because I'm trying to work on our retreat centre. So I need some time. So I've been busy for the past 6 years, and also because of COVID and that, I thought, okay, I want to get to the place where I want to be, so I'm going to do a lot of hours, and I'll be doing like 14-hour shifts, and sometimes 7 days in a row. So a lot of this experience recently came from the past 6 or 7 years or so of studies. And during the first part, sometimes starting at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, going on till probably 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and I was like getting home and just having a quick routine. I was so used to many years just getting home and scrolling on my phone or just sitting down. But I can't do that anymore. I know how important sleep is to us. If you don't get enough sleep, it affects all sorts of things in your body, such as like hormone regulation, your mood, aches and pains. Oh yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Also productivity, mood stabilization, everything. So you have, different hormones in your body, such as like endorphins, etc., which is when you're working out. You have these good feel hormones that make you feel good. And we often don't prioritize sleep. In fact, most of us here probably have a smartphone, yeah? And when it gets to maybe like, 60, 70%, we think, I've got to put it on charge. But when it comes to us, we're not so militant with that. We're like, oh, it's okay, I'll catch up with it tomorrow. And then what happens tomorrow? You wake up, you feel a lot worse, you feel tired, you do pick up in the day. But for those of you who probably maybe some like insomniacs or don't sleep well, insomniacs usually is the definition is somebody who doesn't sleep well 3 days of the week, and after maybe 30 minutes you're trying to really suffer to get to sleep. Within literally 5 minutes every night, most nights on average, I'd say 95% of the time, after a couple minutes I've hit the pillow, I'm gone, which is good, and I'm happy with that. I tend to wake up in the middle of the night, usually go to the toilet, refresh myself, and then go back to bed. But there's lots of tools and techniques I want to help give you. Obviously that's probably why you're here today. Maybe you're just curious, or like, oh, how can I better my sleep? Because there's always room for self-improvement. I'm always learning as well. So there's an array of different things out there. There's tons and tons of books. But a lot of it comes down to you and your lifestyle, and perhaps your home as well. So as I said, like, you can't then like not sleep well one day and think, oh, I'll pick it up on the next day. It doesn't really work out like that. Once you get into a routine, you find a good pattern, then you're able to have consistent good night's sleep most nights. And what that is going to bed at the same time pretty much every night if you can. I know some of you probably maybe socialise and like to go out and partying, understandable, that's your own choice. But for me, I like to be quite militant, like sleep is very important. The studies that I know about sleep and not getting enough sleep is very detrimental to our health and our well-being. And I mean, some people find me quite boring. They're like, oh, I'm going home to sleep now, and they're like, oh, what's, you know, it's only like 7 or 8 o'clock. Yeah, but sleep's important to me. Not only that, in a talk I'm doing tomorrow, covering about lucid dreaming and having more dreams and being more awake in your dreams, that practice I like to do also. So I'll cover that more tomorrow. But during your process, there's like a sleep sort of routine and sleep hygiene process that we all need to do, and probably we don't do it. And that is basically like, you know, being quite militant and having a schedule when you go to sleep. And it's not doing like, okay, I've got my pajamas on now, I've brushed my teeth, now I'm ready for bed. And what are you doing in that time? Are you like scrolling or watching TV? Like, the worst thing is social media and screens. Screens have a high blue peak, which keeps us a lot more active and awake. So blue light scatters more than red. So this is why the sky is blue, because light scatters more. So if you are in bed and maybe you're I don't know, doing a crossword or doing a game or just on Facebook, and you're getting that light, then it's keeping you awake. You're actually fooling your body to thinking, oh, I'm still awake, and then you're trying to go to sleep. So there's like a duration where once you're in bed, you need to get more darkness. So what I do, my room is probably a lot more different to a lot of you guys. My room is completely blacked out. I don't have any light that enters it. And also, as soon as I get into bed, I'm not sleeping straight away. Usually what I do after like a shift work is that at the moment I'm going through Simpsons, and it's a bit crazy, but it's like a 20-minute, they're all about 20-minute long episodes. And I have a filter setting on my phone. If you have an Android, there's an app called Twilight, which is really good, I recommend. If you have an Apple or iPhone, then I think the settings in there already. What that does, it takes out the blue peak and puts it to more of a reddy orange colour, which is more natural to us. So it mimics the sun, like the sunset as we're going to sleep. And I put the darkness quite low. I can hardly see it. So I'm basically watching something for 20 minutes. That's on like a red and black screen. You can hardly see it, but I'm sort of paying attention or not. It's just something there I can just switch off to. And it's something just a bit comical that I, wake up the next morning feeling a bit better. Choose what you want. If you want to like read in a very, very low light, try that if your eyes can adjust. But what that's doing is that you're basically building up melatonin in your brain naturally. So after like 15 to 20 minutes, roughly, you're signaling your brain to produce melatonin, which melatonin is the sleep hormone, basically, that is in our brain that generates to get good sleep. And we need serotonin to produce melatonin. We get serotonin through natural light, so daylight. So after being outside or just having exposure to daylight in the day, and then you're in bed, then you want to be in darkness, and that's the key. So the thing is, if you're saying yourself as like an insomniac, you can't sleep, maybe perhaps you are a biphasic sleeper. So that means that you sleep in 2 phases. So the first part, you might get 4 or 5 hours sleep, and you might feel really refreshed and awake. Then later in the day, you think, oh, I just need a nap. And that might be because you need to sleep. You need to sleep in 2 phases, and that might be having 4 or 5 hours sleep and doing something for a couple of hours. It could be just reading a book or something and then go back to sleep. You might find you can sleep again. Or some people sleep 4 or 5 hours, go to work and come back, and that's what they did in the old days, medieval times. People had typically like biphasic sleep, where they had two-phase sleeps. They would sleep for 4 or 5 hours, sometimes get up and socialise, and then go back to bed for a number of hours. But we've lost that because of shift work. Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you a question, darling, apart from can we open some of the sides to blaze it up in here? Does everyone agree?
I have no control on that, so...
Will it make any difference though? It's probably better with them shut because of the sun.
Well, we'll raise it later. Or maybe have a fan here, I don't know. But this is... Yes?
Do you think you can change if that pattern is what you've done for a few years, sleep for 5 hours, then wake for a couple? Do you think you can change it, or is that you?
It depends. I don't know how to answer that because it's you just have to experiment. You know, like if you're having trouble sleeping and you're not feeling refreshed, it is possible, and I've done that. Doing shift work for a number of years. Recently I did much later shifts, almost going into like night shifts. So I wanted to see, okay, I don't want to keep myself in these early shift patterns. I want to make sure that I'm still adjustable, and it was possible. So totally. I don't know that answers your question.
Inquiry.
Thanks.
Would that be when your plasticity would come in, where you'd be rather grown?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, definitely. And you can do that by speaking to yourself, which is another important subject too. When you're getting into bed, you need to like affirm to yourself that I'm going to sleep well tonight. We have a body clock, as you know. So getting into bed, you know, how many of you wake up just before your alarm? Oh, yeah? Because
to wake up.
but most of you probably wake up just before your alarm goes off because you've programmed yourself, okay, I've got to get up at 6 o'clock this morning, or I've got to get up at 8 o'clock because I've got to go to the healing weekend today, you know? And you might wake up excited like coming before your alarm. So you have a body clock that is really, really accurate. So affirming yourself that I am going to sleep well, these are good affirmations when you get into bed. Because probably most of you can raise your hands if you like, but if you don't sleep well, maybe you get into bed and you're like, oh, I'm not going to sleep well tonight. Who does that? Some of you might do. So if you're doing that, think more positively and affirm and have a good positive affirmation that I'm going to sleep well tonight. And like, okay, now I'm in bed, I'm relaxed, okay, my phone is on flight mode or the Wi-Fi's off, the phone's off the hook, like this is my time now. And that's really important to prioritise. I understand if people have children or grandchildren they're probably looking after, or pets, there can be distractions for your sleep. But regardless, as soon as you get into bed, have that affirmation to yourself that, okay, now I'm in bed, now I sleep really well. So going back to the screens and like smart devices, tablets, mobile phones, as I said, the blue peak, it's not just the fact of the blue light, but you also get an overstimulation from doing something proactive and mental. So when I put some Simpsons on, I'm going through all the season at the moment. There's quite a lot. If you're probably aware the Simpsons is about.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm just going to see whether we can open the sign.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I can't do this subject to health and safety, but she's just going down to see. Right.
Thanks.
It's really warm.
Yes.
Thank you.
So yeah, overstimulation of the brain. But the biggest obstacle is yourself. If you are stressed, if you are worried, that can completely destroy all the techniques and everything that you do. Because if you have something on your mind, you're worried, and you probably all had that before, you got into bed and you're like, oh God, I'm worrying about my neighbour next door, or something that's going on in your mind, some noise, it all comes down to yourself. If you are stressed out, the mind can overtake the body completely. Because we have consciousness, we have mind, more than our physical body, and the more we affirm that, okay, we are stressed, okay, I can't sleep because I've got this in my mind, then there's probably some stress techniques that you need to look into to help you with that. So as we age, sometimes we find that we need less sleep than we did when we were younger, and that is normal. Some people might sleep more. During like illness, for example, when I have the flu, etc., I can sleep up to like 12 hours in that day because my body is fixing and repairing itself. So it's important to sleep. So if you are sick, if you are unwell, just make sure you get enough rest, because sleep process is very important to fixing and healing your body. And if you don't get enough, then over the years it can impact you. So you have something called sleep debt, which is where if you don't sleep enough, then eventually it can take a toll on your body. You can go through burnout, you can go through a number of health issues which we don't want. So, etc. as heat as well, which we're experiencing now. Probably most of you have your bedroom upstairs, possibly. Yeah. Probably this time of year it's probably very hot. If you don't know this, close your curtains, close your blinds, keep the windows shut as well, because otherwise you're allowing a lot of hot airflow to come into your room. And then early hours of the morning, open them up, or at night when it's a bit more cooler, because in this time of year you're going to find that your bedroom is just going to be hot. Getting into bed can be very, very difficult. And we're also conditioned, especially us English, who are in England, we're used to being tucked in at night, aren't we, since we're younger, by our parents or our grandparents, and having a bit of weight on us. So having the duvet on us, we're getting sweaty, we have to pull that off, and then we can't sleep because we don't have that comfort blanket over us. So there is something called weighted blankets, which I have in the summer. And the winter time, my bedroom is quite cold. I don't like it too hot, which is a very important thing. Your bedroom, if you want to sleep well, make sure it's a cool environment, because when you're in bed at night, your body temperature does drop to match the room, but also with all the duvets and blankets over you, you are keeping that body temperature in. But in warmer climates, you find that most people don't sleep with big thick duvets. When I was travelling for a few months in Indonesia, I was in a place called Raja Ampat, which is this beautiful, untouched part of the world. Clear waters, some of the water is about that shallow most of the place. And I was on this wooden stilt room above the water. You could hear the water underneath. Sounds beautiful, but it was also very distracting when you're trying to sleep. But it was so hot in there, all I had was a sarong over me, a very thin blanket, and I didn't really need it, but again it was that conditioning that, okay, I need something over me. And it took me a couple of weeks to get used to this heat and being in this environment where I needed to sleep. But after a long day, you find that you can sleep. Being in Indonesia, I noticed the locals, some of them will sleep on the beach. Some guy was in a hammock, a guy was on the wood bit which is near the water, just asleep there under the stars. I had a chat with him, and I was like, "Oh, do you sleep this all the time?" He goes, "Yeah, most nights. So I don't have a bedroom, and my home is always busy with the family because he's got 10 people in his family. So he comes out to the pontoon to sleep on the floor and underneath the stars." And what happens when it rains? He's like, "Well, I've got a hammock with a roof." So I was like, okay. So people in different countries sleep differently, and us English, we tend to have our own conditioning. So having your bedroom a cool environment is very important for sleep. As I stressed earlier, darkness is the key. So especially this time of year in the summertime, where it's hot and it gets dark much later, then where some people can't sleep because there's so much light coming into their bedroom. Colleagues at work, I find they just can't sleep well at all because there's so much light coming in. I'm just laying there. It's like, "Well, have you shut the curtains?" "Yeah, I've shut them, but there's still light coming in." It's like, you need to get blackout blinds in, and the ones that completely just cut off all the light coming in at all. So basically you want to trick yourself that, okay, this is sleep, because your body knows better than you, your brain. Some people can do it, some people can sleep anywhere, as you probably see, maybe on the train or in the cinema. You think, how the hell can you sleep in that position? Yeah? Anywhere. And you're probably envious of that as well. Yeah?
No, I'm pretty similar.
Oh, you're similar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can't get in the car without falling asleep.
Yeah.
As long as
So-
you don't drive, Michelle.
Hey?
As long as you don't drive.
Time. So yeah, having your bedroom, you know, only for sleep is very important. If some of you own houses, and I mean, I haven't got that space in my place because I have my room separately. But if I had like a bigger house with like a box room, I would dedicate that room to be my bedroom only. That's where I sleep, and like another room would be where my clothes are, etc. So try things around. Maybe you need to, if your bedroom is so hot this time of year, maybe you can sleep somewhere downstairs. Maybe you can change things around in a room or like a garage or something. I know it sounds crazy, but if there's so much heat in the daytime, then maybe just looking. Sorry.
Get a tent out.
Or the tent? Well, yeah, it's like a
Well,
hot box
not
like this.
yeah.
Or a tent inside the garage. I've done that in London before, in an apartment I was in. There's so much light coming out and noise as well. So if you are in a home and you find that there's so much noise pollution from your bedroom, from outside, like neighbours, etc., there is something called secondary glazing you might have heard of, I don't know. It's basically a typical double glazed window, and then there's another double glazed window just inside. And that's a really good tip as well. If you want to try and soundproof your home to get better sleep, and you always complain about the neighbours next door, like they're having parties at night or there's music, you can try these double secondary glazing, which helps to really soundproof the room, which really works well. So, sleep and physical health, which I touched on earlier. If you don't get enough sleep, it can affect all sorts of things. Also serotonin and mood levels, but also the benefits of sleep are like growth hormone, so repairs the body during sleep as well. So if you've had like an injury, then getting the right sleep can help you heal. Getting the right amount of sleep reduces inflammation, supports our immune system, regulates our heart, blood pressure and cortisol, and balances our hunger as well. So those of you who probably haven't slept well before only a couple of hours, you probably find that your body clock is all over the place. You probably find that you're very, very hungry, or it's all change, because what you have inside your body is something called the circadian rhythm, which is like our biological process of our body, because of Earth and the way that the rhythms of the Earth control our body. So if we were to go to Mars or Uranus, for example, we'd probably find that our patterns are completely messed up because we're not on Earth. We have something called the Schumann resonance, which is 7.3 hertz per second, which is a rhythm, which is a pulse of the Earth as well, which is why grounding is very important. So another tip for your bedroom, there's also something called an earthing blanket as well. Has anyone heard that before?
Yeah.
Yeah, has anyone got an earthing blanket?
Sister's got one, she
Yeah.
swears for it.
Yeah, anyone else got one? Brandon, Matt? If you have it by your feet, that's just as good, because you have something called the K9 point, reflexology point on your foot. I suppose that's a point on your foot where it helps ground you. So they're quite expensive for the big sheet that covers your whole bed, but you can get those, and it's very easy to install because it sounds dangerous, but you basically plug it into your mains electricity, but it doesn't have metal connections where the power is. It's only the earth. So if you know a typical 3-pin plug in the UK, the top part is the earth, the grounding, and the other two is the positive and negative of the electric current. So what you do is if your house is grounded, then you're okay. So it basically, you have this cord that plugs into the sheet, which goes over your bed, and that cord goes into your plug socket, and that basically grounds you. If you're really unsure, then you can also get an earthing rod yourself and make sure you put it in the ground outside, which I've done. So it goes about a metre down in the ground. So if you're unsure, or you don't like the sound of plugging yourself into electricity, which is perfectly safe, it's this plastic that goes in, then helps to just take away that static charge from our body, because that's what stress is. Stress in the body is you haven't discharged it properly, which is why grounding is very good. So being grounding at night with this sheet is very good. You can also have a sleeping bag, grounding bag, which basically you cover yourself in it, and you could be cocooned in this earthing frequency. And that's what we were doing thousands of years ago. We were living along nature. And I sleep the best. We mentioned tent earlier. When I've been sleeping out in the woods and camping, I find that I sleep really good because I'm low down to the ground. Even though there's material in between me and the tent, you're still within that resonance of the earth a bit more lower. Another thing is boats as well. When I lived on a boat in London for a number of years, and just the very calming effect of the water. It's also very grounding too. So I slept really, really good during like boat journeys. So yeah, as I said earlier, as we get older, we tend to have less sleep, but typically anywhere between 7 hours to 10 hours that we can typically have. If you're having any less than that, please do some research. There's plenty of books out there you can read on books. Pretty much any book on sleep will help you because it basically touches upon the main points there, which can really help. So I have a routine. As soon as I get home, I basically just, all the blinds are shut, I have a shower, like I pack my bag for work because I'm doing shift work currently. And just before I hit the shower, I make this herbal drink, and it's taken me a number of years to perfect. And what I do is I use oat milk, which has no sugar in it, and I put into a heaped tablespoon of chamomile flowers, a heaped tablespoon of lavender flowers, and then some sweet cinnamon powder. Then I mix that, and as soon as it starts to bubble a bit and get hot, then I just swirl it around and leave it so it's like lukewarm to drink. And then I have honey with that too. So once it's cooled down, I squeeze it all out from a strainer, and I find that it's a bit of carbs with the oats. If you can't eat oats, then find another alternative. But for me, I find it very helpful having the oats and the herbs such as chamomile, lavender, which helps to relax us. I find that's a really good routine I have, and a herbal supplement. So for those of you who are taking probably melatonin, I don't know if you've been prescribed to it, but this is just my thoughts. If you are relying on a supplement, then you're most likely tricking your body not to produce melatonin anymore, when you can produce melatonin yourself by being in the dark. So try these techniques if you can. Try and be in the dark. Have red light. So there's typical you can buy USB lights or a red light bulb, or change the lighting in your room so it's mimicking more of the sunset as well. But try and think about being in the dark completely. If any of you listen to podcasts or the radio, or on that audible stuff that you can listen to a book, then do so. Do that and just listen. But don't shut your eyes and do it as you fall asleep, because you won't be going to sleep. Prop yourself up in the bed. This is what I do. And then after 20 minutes or something, maybe put on a little alarm on your phone or something like that. And then the key is the trigger point for me is when I start yawning. So it's like, okay, now I know I'm probably ready to sleep, because I know as soon as I start yawning, okay, that's my signal. I turn whatever I'm watching off, even if I haven't finished it, and I lay down and I'm in bed. And I have 2 alarms for me to get up. If you don't need to get up next day at a certain time, then it's fine, but it's also helpful to put an alarm on so you can track your sleep. So you're not waiting thinking, oh, what time is it? I need to look at the time. And as soon as you wake up to look at the time, you're resetting your eyes and your brain to think, okay, now I'm awake. So what I have is red glasses by my bedside. So as soon as I wake up, I put them on. Probably look a bit crazy to any spirits of that, seeing me walking around early hours in the morning when I go to the toilet. But I put my red glasses on. If I need to go to the toilet, I keep them on, because any lights that I have in the house, if it's light outside, it can trigger me to be awake. Especially this time of year, you're waking up and it's not even sunset yet. You might wake. For me, I might wake up about 9 or 10 o'clock to go to the toilet, and then it's still light. So I don't want to trigger myself to think, okay, I'm up now. So it's tricking your brain, your body, to think, okay, now I'm still going to sleep. Being in the dark also, especially in the winter months, and regards to summer months, because my house is all blacked out for sleep, I have a red torch, a red light. As I said, blue light is a monster to sleep, basically, because it's just going to get more brighter, it's going to keep us awake. So I have a single little red torch They're very cheap to buy. You can get them on eBay for a couple of pounds. The shipping takes some time. You can find other ones. But these are very cheap little torches. This has a little red light on there. And I use that just to see where I'm going. Because again, if you put the light on as soon as you wake up, you're triggering yourself to think, okay, I'm awake now. And then you probably find, maybe some of you don't know, after going to sleep, you probably go back to bed after going to the toilet and think, okay, I can't sleep now. Because you've told your body, I'm awake. Does that anyone happen to any of you? So, probably a little bit of money needs to be spent, but this is money for your health. You know, if you get these tools, then it can really help you. So, is anyone aware of brainwaves? A few of you. So at the moment, you should be in beta, hopefully. We do fluctuate. Beta is between 12 and 30 hertz, like per second. So hertz is a frequency, a pulse per second, like it's almost like your hardware of your brain, which pulses. And when we're active and running, or doing exercise, or cleaning the house, or doing something active, and we find that our brain waves are much higher in beta, or even higher. As we relax, go into meditation, we find that our heart rate drops a little bit, our breathing softens. We find that our brain waves also go down to theta. So theta is between 4 and 8 hertz per second, so it's a bit more slower rather than the beta, which is between roughly 12 and 30 hertz. And then even deeper than that, when you're in bed and asleep, you're going through delta, which is from all the way down to like 4 hertz per second, so it's much slower. So you think like a wavering pulse. So at the moment you're in theta, which is like boop, 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 as you're going to theta meditation, boop, 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 kind of like that. And then when you're in delta, it's do do do, so that brain pulse. So you've got to think about when you're in bed, your brain is also relaxing. You're not just relaxing your mind, but also your brain has to catch up to your brain waves to change. And there are certain tools you can use, such as binaural beats as well. So there is a company which I've known for many years called HemiSync. There's also Kelly Howe. There's obviously other things out there. But don't download anything from YouTube, because YouTube, when you download it into MP3 is compressed media, so you probably find that the frequencies are lost. And how it works is by putting headphones on. You can either put headphones on as you sleep, or you can have speakers either side of your head in stereo, and you have, say, 100 hertz in the left ear and a difference of 103 in the right ear. The differential of 100 hertz and 103 will create a third signal of 3 hertz in your brain. And after like a number of minutes of listening to this brainwave binaural beats, then it can start to relax your brain and start to calm it down. So it's the law of resonance, law of synchronicity. Imagine a pendulum. They say when 2 pendulum clocks are next to each other, eventually they start to catch up and synchronize. So you're doing the same with your brain, listening to these frequencies. You don't have to also have headphones. You can also use isochronic tones. Isochronic tones are like a shamanic beat. So it's like a repetition, like boom, boom, boom. Like after a while, you are entrancing yourself to be in this deeper state. So in my setup in my room, I don't use binaural beats anymore. I've been using them for the last like 15, 16 years. I now just have a little speaker with my sleep phone. So I have my normal day-to-day phone, and I have my previous phone, which I use for my sleep and my alarm, which is in the twilight filter, which has the red hue on there. And on there I have a 10-hour track. It's not tending to sleep for 10 hours, but the idea is for me to track how long I've been asleep, and also that 10 hours is a window. If perhaps I am sick, then I know that I've had a decent amount of sleep. So I play it from the beginning, from 0 seconds, and then in the morning I can see how much I slept. Also during the night, I don't tend to look at the time. I tend to look at how long I've slept as well, because then I've seen, I've only slept 5 hours. Okay, I'll see if I can sleep more, because otherwise the last thing you want to do is start looking at, how much have I slept? You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to keep your mind awake. If you can just put on the screen quickly, and with my red glasses, if you want to get those, and just say, okay, I can see how long the track has been playing for. So I find that's a really good tip to do. But the biggest drug out there, anyone know what it is? Any guesses? Coffee, caffeine, it's the biggest drug out there. Keeps us wired, keeps us not tired. Yeah, it's a real wedge in our sleep routines, as well as chocolate too. So people don't realise this.
That's fine.
Not for everybody, but we do have an enzyme in our stomach. I think connected to our kidneys. I think our liver. I think it's the liver. That some people can have coffee before going to bed. They can sleep fine. Yeah. Maybe because you have. Maybe you have the enzyme in your liver. Do you know about this enzyme?
Yeah.
You do. Which breaks down the caffeine much faster. Whereas some other people, they're probably finding, if I have coffee at 8, I don't know, midday, I can't sleep later on, and that's me. I'm very sensitive. I don't break down the caffeine very well. The same as chocolate.
Just discovered organic low acid coffee.
Okay.
Total game changer.
Yeah.
I used to get the jitters from the caffeine. Don't get it from that because it's got no chemicals in it. It's really clean, and the low acid in the coffee is actually quite good for you.
That's good to know. What's it called?
I've forgotten the name of the company, but you can actually get it out there. There's a lot of people advertising it, where it is organically grown, so they don't spray. Apparently, coffee's got
That's all right.
It's got coffee has the most chemicals sprayed all over
Yeah.
it. But if you go for organic and you actually go for the specific low acid, it's actually taken it back to how coffee was used as a medicine. And I don't get the jitters when I only have 1 or 2 coffees a day, and I grind the beans myself. You can get it ground. But there's several companies out there that are doing this low acid.
That's good because I'm always learning as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, I can't touch coffee anymore. I haven't had it for
It's
years.
been a game changer for me, and it's really, it tastes so different as well. But there are companies that do I mean, it's very hard for some of them to get it organic, so they just make sure it's not sprayed with chemicals, and then it's the low acid. So that's the key as far as I can see.
That's good. There are.
The benefit that's organic, and that one's really nice.
Yeah, no jitters. Don't get jitters from that.
The churros.
No,
It's decaf, but it's organic. It's organic decaf. So the clipper is very good.
Yeah, so also like chocolate is relative to caffeine, is the cacao bean as well as the coffee bean, very similar in a way. Although chocolate has a lot of theobromine in there, which keeps us really awake and alert. As I said, some people can break down that enzyme very fast, but if some of you find you're quite sensitive and you get the jitters and you're very sensitive to coffee.
West Berkshire Roastery.
West Berkshire Roastery. There are alternatives to coffee, such as there's like a 7 mushroom blend you can buy, which has like reishi, shiitake, chaga, etc. Those are some alternatives, and that gives you a natural sort of energy boost rather than having like the jittery effect. But again, if you found this one, then good. But if you need to wake up, then drink some. Yeah. Oh, you have? Does it work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
528.
528 was the 528.
528. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What company did you get it from?
Well, the first one we paid expensive for, and we tested it was doing the right resonance. Second one we got off Temu, and it still works.
Still works.
So
You speak to your iPhone, you make a frequency what it's pumping out.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it expensive, that one? Miles?
That was the cheap one.
that
Cheap one was
costs
doing the
about
same.
£12.
Okay, I'll look into I'll look into that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get one eBay as well for about 20.
Yeah, I got a really cheap one years ago, but I think it just didn't really work.
Yeah, there's an app on your phone so you can test if it's doing the right frequencies.
Supposedly they have this up in the space station up in space because there's no frequency up there.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah.
With the grounding mats, can you put them on your back? I just wondered if I can put it on the bed under my feet at night.
Yeah, definitely. You can put it anywhere. If you're in the garden, but then.
Yeah, no, I have it in the kitchen when I'm doing things. I've got my feet on it. I just wanted at night where I could just put it under my feet. I'm sure the dogs will like it.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're taking over it. Yeah, if you've had a very stressful day, it helps to just like take away that stress. because we have this discharge in us of like so much stress in our body that grounding. I mean, you can do it yourself, and the typical thing is, going up to a tree and grounding. You don't need to do that. You can also go to anything that's metal in the garden. I've done it to lampposts before when I've been stressed out. Just held onto it, and people just think I'm just there on my phone or whatever. I'm just offloading the energy into the lamppost because it's just going into the ground.
I take the dogs out at night and I just stand on the grass in bare feet.
Yeah.
Yelling at them to be clean, but I'm doing the grounding as well.
What about EMF exposure? Like dirty electrics?
We're right near
5G mass.
5G, so we're
You
looking
did
at
that's really knocking you out.
yeah.
There is again, if you want to customise your bedroom, you can. I don't have that issue, but if I did, I would most likely get a 4-poster bed with a Faraday cage.
That's what we're getting.
Yeah,
That's what you're getting.
next thing on the list.
That's next thing on the list.
We
Yeah.
paid him, we're just waiting to finalise.
Just don't expect to get any phone signals in there.
No.
Oh no, yeah, that's easy company.
Apparently,
You can't have it all, you know.
No.
apparently it doubles your frequency, doesn't it? Anything you put inside it, it then heightens it. So
If you put something inside,
all
it will
out.
reflect around it, and if you actually put your phone on the side, it'll actually make it worse.
Does anyone know what a Faraday cage is? No? So it's typically a sheet, a mesh, basically, a very slightly woven mesh, very, very small. And they've done tests in this many years. I can't remember the guy who invented it, but I think his last name was Faraday, a couple of hundred years back. And it basically just stops any radio frequencies, phone signals, EMFs, anything coming in. It basically just disperses it, so it's not affecting your body. So if you are really serious about like not having EMFs in your life or around you, you can do the whole house to it if you wanted. There are ways to do that, but for example, I mean, I don't have that issue if I was in a more built-up area. But if I did, I'm more likely to get a 4-poster bed, with the curtain. But I'll take them out and I'll put EMF blocking frequencies around there to get better, especially in London if I was to live there again.
In America, don't they put the wiring around the house, around the perimeter of the house?
That's a grounding wire, I think.
Is it grounding?
Yeah.
With conductive paint, shielding paint, just the rear.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, if you always paint your house up, probably quite expensive, but
it's a layer per G, so you need 5 layers.
4 or 5 layers if you're going to do 5G, you need 4 layers.
And they reckon now you should go up at least under a couple to
6 layers for 6G, 7G.
I mean, it's quite serious because you don't realise the effects of like smartwatches and phones, Bluetooth. I don't know the full research on it, but just try and protect yourself if it's something you're concerned about. Because at the end of the day, we are a frequency, we are a consciousness. Hopefully, you're aware of that because you're here, in the weekend, mediumship, etc. We are an etheric being. We have energy within us that has different levels. We're all made of the same stuff, energy. Electrons, protons, everything. It's all vibrating matter, and we are a frequency. So if you're having another frequency next to you, a lot of people who in the past, again, I don't know people close to me, but I've seen research people who've had using phones for many years. They've either had like brain cancer or something like that. Again, I'm not quoting anybody. It's just stuff I've heard. But if you've heard this, it's best not to have that in your life. Try and prevent it if you can. So, any couple more questions? Got a couple minutes left.
It's nothing to do with coffee or
That's
Faraday.
okay.
And admittedly, I arrived a little late, but dreaming was on my programme. Have we talked
me as
about
well.
dreaming?
That's tomorrow, I think,
I'm
is it?
itching. I'm like you, I'm itching to ask about the dreaming.
Dreaming.
Yeah, this one's today.
That's more tomorrow, but I'll touch on that quickly. So, who here loves to dream?
Yeah, no, not today then.
Sorry?
Who here loves to dream?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't dream.
Hands down. Who doesn't like to dream?
No, I don't dream.
Who has scary dreams? Okay. Who doesn't remember any dreams? Who doesn't remember anything?
Sometime, yeah.
Okay. Hands down. Who remembers more than one dream per night, per morning?
Sorry?
Who remembers more than one dream?
Oh, I do.
More than 2? Hands up. More than 3?
Yeah.
4?
Sorry, so you
More than 5 dreams?
No, you should remember 1 or 2.
So I've got to the point in the past where I've remembered about roughly 35, 36 dreams in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
And it can be quite impactful and quite draining. So if you want to do research on that, do it. But you also, the importance of sleep which I'll more talk about the dreaming tomorrow because of lucid dreaming. Sorry about the title, I was just going off about sleep. We talked on longer. But the purpose of dreaming is to allow us to detach from our physical life, our physical worries, and to basically put our body to sleep. And some of the dreams are life's worries, etc., and subconscious stuff. But you can program yourself to have more dreams, and it's very, very possible and doable. And having lucid dreams also, which I'll touch more on tomorrow. I think it's about 11 o'clock tomorrow. I'm doing it. So yeah, I've got to finish now. So I didn't touch on that fully, but if you want to come tomorrow, I'll talk about dreams.
It's frustrating because it's like the next episode, and I want to binge watch. Keep going.
You enjoyed it?
On YouTube, keep going. Oh, I get more time.
It's how we condition now, isn't it? Oh, I want to reverse or like rewind, I want to pause. Anyway, thank you all for turning up. Hope you have a good day. Keep hydrated, please. That's also a good thing for sleep too. But you know, keep hydrated. Keep out the sun if you can. Keep in the shade.